Okay, you are not going to believe this one. We are diving into a truly wild story that's been making the rounds, all based on a piece that imagines what would happen if one of Vladimir Putin's most loyal possessions could talk. So, you probably think you know the deal with the world's most powerful leaders, right? But I promise you, you have never, ever considered this side of Vladimir Putin.
Because, we're not talking about geopolitics today. No military strategy here.
We are talking about his most personal, his most closely guarded secret. That's it, a briefcase. But look, this is not just any briefcase. Oh no, this one has a story to tell. And in this absolutely bizarre telling, the briefcase itself is breaking its silence. And you are definitely going to want to hear what it has to say. So seriously, hit that subscribe button right now because this is where things get really, really weird. All right, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. What on earth is this thing? Yep, you read that right. I'm not making this up. The story goes that this briefcase literally travels with the Russian delegation for one very specific, and let's be honest, very organic purpose: to collect the president's poop. So why? Why would anyone do this? Well, the reason is pure spy movie paranoia. It's all about biosecurity. See, human waste is basically a goldmine of genetic data, and the whole point is to stop foreign spies from getting any kind of intel on Putin's health. And according to the story, the briefcase itself is pretty bummed out. It was on standby at a recent summit, totally ready for action, but its services weren't needed. Turns out, Putin was back on his plane before nature called. Okay, so this brings up a pretty obvious and, let's be real, a slightly awkward question. How does this even work? Well, apparently it's a whole team effort. An aide discreetly places a special container in the toilet, the asset is collected, it's sealed up tight, and then it's safely stowed away inside the briefcase for the trip back home to Russia. And get this idea isn't even completely new. There's actually a historical precedent here. King Louis XIV of France apparently traveled with his own portable toilet that was hidden in a chest of drawers. So très civilisé, very civilized. But hey, being this close to power means you overhear some things. And this is where the story gets really juicy. The briefcase says it almost saw action during the summit. A lunch was planned but got canceled, and the menu, we're talking salad, steak with a rich peppercorn sauce, and coffee, was apparently full of what it calls defecation reflexes. It canceled lunch, meant a missed opportunity for our guy. So all of this leads to the biggest question of all, right? What about those constant rumors about Putin's health? What does the briefcase know? But listen, the briefcase is no fool. When it gets pressed on this, its witty comeback is that it's just trying to avoid the fate of, well, some other Russian critics. That is a pretty clear no comment if I've ever heard one. So how does a briefcase even get a job this important? Nepotism, obviously. It claims it has a long family history of serving Russian leaders, all the way from a great-grandfather who was a trunk for the Tsar to a grandmother who was Raisa Gorbacheva's handbag. And the gossip doesn't just stop with Putin. When asked if Trump would need a similar service in Moscow, the briefcase's reply is a very, very cheeky, no need. I'm just gonna let you sit with that one. So why is this famously tight-lipped briefcase suddenly spilling all its secrets? Well, like so many great tell-all stories, it starts with a betrayal. That's right. After all these years of loyal, silent service, the briefcase is being decommissioned. Yeah, it's a little scuffed up, the handle's frayed, but it's still perfectly functional. But instead of a simple repair, it's being replaced by a flashy $6,000 designer briefcase. It's a classic oligarch move, right? Why repair something when you can just show off with something brand new? And this is where our story ends, with one final, stinging farewell. The briefcase offers this seemingly loyal sign-off, wishing its old boss a long and healthy reign. A perfect parting shot from a piece of luggage that has, apparently, seen it all. And there you have it, the tell-all story of Putin's poop briefcase. What do you think of this absolutely insane tale? Drop your thoughts down in the comments, smash that subscribe button for more weird explainers, and we will see you on the next one.